Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. So this one's called Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Right.
2022.
Right.
Do you want to describe what people see? Not what it was, but what the image itself. So, because somebody who's listening has to have a sense of what are we looking at.
Yeah, it's a rather dark picture in a valley, kind of like a canyon that has a waterfall at the end of it. It's like, I would say, a big waterfall.
It's big.
I place myself in front of it for the purpose of the scaling, which I always do. I don't need to be in the picture, if the main focus is on the waterfall, but the purpose of that is that, you see the size of it, because otherwise it could just be a very tiny drop, you wouldn't know. Right? So it's very dark. It was in winter. It was right before sundown, and I wanted to be there off season, so that's why there are no people, so there's no one photoshopped out of the picture or anything. Because as I said, I always seek isolation on my trips if possible.
Right. Okay. So the image is it's, as he said, very dark. So it's essentially like the waterfall in a kind of canyon. So there's walls on the right, walls on the left, or maybe it's just flat.
Right.
And the waterfall itself is probably maybe maybe 3 or 4 meters across, but at probably a good 5 or 10 meters up.
Yeah.
They're pretty tall.
Yeah.
The light balance is beautiful. We tell just by looking at it in terms of the color rendition and in terms of the composition. And so you had it on a tripod.
Right.
You obviously shoot with really nice gear because the image is just deliciously beautifully. So what gear are you shooting with?
I was a Canon 90D.
Okay.
And I think for that one, I just had my 75 to 90. I actually can't remember what lens I was using, but I remember that it was like I had a hard time taking this picture because of the drop of the waterfall, mist coming from it, pushed back,
pushing into the lens,
and so not only did I have to use the tripod, I also had to use the timer because I'm quite far away.
Right,
so I had the Bluetooth remote and the timer. So what I would do is I would go to the tripod, I would focus on the waterfall, like for a second, then cover the lens with my hand, initiate the 10-second timer. Then I would uncover it, run, and notice it doesn't give me enough time. Because if I took the hand away and started running, by the time I got to the point where I'm standing, the lens was completely covered with water. So it took me many trials to see how far away do I have to go so that the water accumulation on the lens is not too big to destroy the picture, but still close enough to not get out of the scaling. And so
it's nice because I don't know if the mist or whatever gives a softness to the light.
Yep, true.
It's very dark, but it's also it's a nice sort of silvery softness. But look, realistically, the fact that it's shot in Bosnia-Herzegovina, probably saying that wrong, but of all the waterfalls, why that one?
So I have this kind of travel addiction. I have the map and I try to go to a new country all the time. Like when I can, I try to check off another country, right? And I'm
like Toronto.
I'm into that kind of stuff, and obviously, as I said now twice, the isolation is right? So the whole Balkan countries, Serbia, Bosnia, Albania, it's still not developed for tourism, right?
Right. Okay.
And as soon as I started to realize, you're gonna move out of Germany soon to California, you have 8 weeks. I was looking at my world map. I was like, okay, there are 7 more countries in or around Europe. It was Albania, it was Bosnia, it was Iceland that I didn't get to see because I didn't want to spend a short 3-day trip. I want to discover this in more time. And that was one of the countries. And so I started Googling, what kind of waterfalls are there. That's just waterfalls, canyon, mountain ranges. That's the kind of stuff I look up first.
Nice.
I found this one. And surprisingly, there were not really many reviews about it.
Okay.
I saw how beautiful it looked in the pictures that sometimes were taken with the phone. It looked like as they walked by, they just quickly snapped the picture and walked away. That's how those pictures look like. Sure. But I could see that this waterfall has the potential to be shown in a very nice way.
One question, because we're just meeting, and so what led you to photography? I mean, why? Obviously, over time, you thought, I like doing this, and then you realize, I can get a good image.
Right.
But then, to specifically invest in the gear to go, one is you got the desire to travel and to go and find these places. Okay. That's one separate desire because some people will just do it and go look. But part of that process for you is to bring the camera know the gear, bring, which could be sometimes very heavy gear or whatever, set it up. So what brought you to photography?
I think just one thing led to another. It's just, I guess I needed an actual camera. I mean, I'm coming from out of times when I'm talking about my first trip ever was in 2004. That time didn't even have proper digital cameras.
Sure.
Right. So you would have photos that you could not see before you got home and develop them.
Right.
And so as that started to become more and more commercial, obviously the first generations of cameras, I didn't buy like a DSLR for like 3,000 euros or whatever.
Yeah.
But once it became more affordable, I grew a bit older, and then I was doing the payments on my first camera because I was like, I could pay it, but it's more comfortable to pay that off in half a year.
Right.
And then it was like a circle. You bought the camera right now. That thing is worth a lot of money, and you don't really know what to do. So other people get the information first, then get the camera. For me, it was vice versa. I had the camera, and now I forced myself to get better at it.
Right.
And so as you get better at it, the picture turned out to be better. And they would never be perfect. You would go on YouTube videos. You would see Peter McKinnon, like this guy. I love him. He explains everything in such a way that you think, I thought I knew everything, but I didn't.
Good.
Right. And then, it's just like now about the perfection, because you could shoot this picture in like 5 different angles and 4 of them would look really stupid.
Right.
So,
what's great is that compositionally, it's very well balanced, in which, the actual waterfall itself, the brightness basically cuts through the image, where it starts right with the sky, which is overcast, so quite bright. And then you've got, I think it's overcast. And then you've got the whiteness of the water coming down and then sort of splitting on the rocks below.
Right.
And you're standing there placed really right in the focal point of the lowest part of the image. So, it's beautifully composed. I had a person on, I'm bad with names. But anyways, I had a person on the podcast I was just like, so talk to me about photography. And I just met him, and he was a stock photographer. And that's how he started. He learned how to do photography as one of the original stock photographers for one of the major stock.
Probably Shutterstock.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And so he learned just by editors saying, no, this photo's crap because we can't use it. And so he learned how to make photographs according to what would sell. And so when I look at this, it could very well be a great editorial photo, a great features photo, So do you ever sell your photos to stock?
I think a year ago I started putting pictures on Shutterstock. Because I also thought I had a lot of great pictures, and some of them sell more often than others, but it doesn't really bring you money.
No, got it. Well, that's what he said too. He said that it's so competitive now. That he in the photo series that he offered, one of them was just a photograph of a baseball, like a diamond, right? So in people in the US, baseball is really huge, and it's just basically somebody standing there, and it's very crisp, very sharp. It's like a perfect photo of a straight baseball diamond with the grass and everything. Totally boring. Completely boring. But he said, I put this photo in there because this is my best seller. By far. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, because for editorial, people... Yeah. Okay. So it just talked about that side of stock photography.
Yeah, one of my friend's best-selling picture is a close-up of cartridge, very close-up picture of paper. Like, people probably use it for, recycling pictures and
Is that
whatever.
Funny? Yeah. Okay. So let's take that very, very, very boring end to this beautiful, beautiful photograph done in Bosnia as the introduction to the next photo. Can we go to the next photo?
Sure. Let's move on.
I'm so excited. Okay. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.